Alright, I'm going to talk about a rather serious issue which I think needs to be publicly discussed, and that is actually the complexity of the U.S. legal code. Now specifically, let's go over some statistics from some research that people have done. First of all, that back in 1925, right, the entire U.S. legal code was codified into one single volume. Now, I mean, it was a rather large volume, but the fact is, it was just one volume, which realistically somebody could read and understand in time. Now, also, the tax code is another good example here. The tax code was 400 pages long 100 years ago this year. Now, with some of the research I've been looking over, that tax code has expanded from 400 pages in 1913, which is smaller than this. This is 500 pages. This is 500 pages of blank paper. So it's smaller than this. And by 2003 being 54,000 pages of law. Now, I mean, can you imagine the size of that? The fact is that, okay, let's see how, if you look at, how big this is. This is roughly 2 inches worth for 500 pages. Now, if we took and we broke down the tax code, which currently they're estimating to be at about roughly 70,000 pages and probably more. That's 70,000 pages. And we divide it by 500 pages and multiply it by the 2 inches here, times 2 inches, and then divide it by 12, so we get it in feet. That's 23 feet. 23 feet tall. If you were just going to line it up all together, just for the tax code. That is ridiculous. And how could you possibly hope to understand all of that? Now, we're also going to talk about some of the current legislation that has been passed in the last couple of years. Okay, well, first of all, the stimulus bill of 2009. Okay, well, you remember this pack of paper? It was more than this. It was slightly more than this. Slightly more than 2 of these together for the stimulus bill. Over 1,000 pages of legal documentation for that bill. That seems a little bit excessive, doesn't it? Well, let's look at something that's even more than that, right? Now, the Affordable Care Act that has been in the buzz all over about, the fact is how onerous and how many regulations it's imposing on people. Well, this is not it. This is only about half. So if you really want to see what it looks like, then we need to stack 2 more stacks of paper on top here. That is the Affordable Care Act. This. Can you imagine having to read that to understand how healthcare works? Reading 2,000 pages of information. Now, I'm going to give you some good comparisons here. Okay? Let's put that aside. Calculus. This is a college calculus book. Now, the fact is, do you realize that this is only about 1,000 pages long? And the fact is that this is for 3 semesters of study in college. This covers all 3 semesters of calculus, meaning, for every semester, you're going to be studying calculus for about a year and a half in college to get through it. And this is a technical manual, just like the Affordable Care Act is, or just like the stimulus bill is. It's pages and pages of instructions. Well, guess what? The Affordable Care Act is double the size of this. And this takes a long time to learn. Now imagine in terms of just logistics, like just legal terms and everything else you have to get through in order to even understand it. Well, how is that a good thing? I'm sorry, but if it's more complicated than calculus, all of calculus, then I'm sorry, that's just a little too much. Here's another good one. This is a Bible, right? This is, a large print American Standard Bible, right? And it is 1,900 pages roughly long. It is shorter than the Affordable Care Act. Some people spend their life studying just this book. Okay, how do you tell me that a law that is longer than this is something good? How do you understand? I'm asking, how can the average American understand? The fact is that other studies I was looking at were estimating that there's over 42 million words in legal code for the U.S. federal government. 42 million plus. Now, if we did this as a paper you did in high school, right? I mean, we put it in here, and we divide it by approximately 250 words, right? Well, do you know how many pages that turns into? That turns into 168,000 pages of legal code. You'd have to have a library to store it all. You realize that that's just ludicrous. How many of you could wade through 168,000 pages of law? How can you understand that? To me, it's massive in the things we need to really start questioning. How do we need to address this? The thing is, I would be for limits on the sizes of laws. The thing is, I would also be for the fact that it has to be written so that your average American can actually understand it. The thing is, you don't put in all these complex legal terms. You put in terms that the average American can understand. Well, the thing is that the problem that lawyers have with this is the fact is that if you could read the law and understand it, you could defend yourself in a court of law. The fact is it would make lawyers obsolete. But the thing is, it can be done. Law can be simplified so that the system runs very smoothly, very simply. We don't have all these nuances in stacks of legal codes we have to deal with all the time. So here's my question to you. What is the appropriate length that a law should not exceed? Is it 100 pages? Is it 50 pages? Or is it a limit on the number of words? Is it, just tell me what you think. What is reasonable for us so that we can understand the legal code of our own government? And just let me know. Just comment below. and just, give me your thoughts. And I'd really appreciate it. All right, and I'm glad you listened, and just comment. I'm flabbergasted by what I've turned up in this research, and I think you should be too. And so let's discuss it, and what our government should do about this legal code that they have.